If you've ever considered owning Bitcoin, now might be the time to get into it. Now, Bitcoin overall has been an asset that a lot of people kind of questioned, thought it was kind of a Ponzi scheme, but now we have actually seen entire countries utilizing Bitcoin. But what is going to come in the future, guys? Now, for a majority of people, if you wanted to invest in Bitcoin, you had to go to coinbasecrypto.com. There were a couple different exchanges that you could own the Bitcoin, or it was kind of hard to get into the entry to actually purchase legitimate Bitcoin, because we know around the Bitcoin and the cryptocurrencies in general, there's a lot of question marks when it comes to inexperienced people, when it comes to finance, and a lot of people were taking part and have been victims of scams and a lot of the wallet clearings and a lot of different things, guys, because they didn't understand the space. Now, with that being said, going into 2024, a lot of that is going to be going away with the Bitcoin ETFs. That is right. They are thinking as early as January 4th that the Bitcoin ETFs, which most of you know if you follow my channel for a while, I love the Bitcoin ETFs, really generating a lot of excitement in the financial industry. They think as early as January 4th, the Bitcoin ETFs could be approved for individuals to get into. That means you can kind of have it as part of your financial portfolio. And I'm hoping this is something that M1 Finance, which I personally use, is going to offer with those Bitcoin ETFs. So you might be asking yourself, what is a Bitcoin ETF, guys? It's a financial product allowing investors exposure to Bitcoin without actually owning Bitcoin. So that is going to be kind of the interesting part, guys. So you're not actually buying Bitcoin. You're not buying the fractional shares of Bitcoin. You're actually buying the ETF that owns the Bitcoin. So again, it's going to make it a lot easier for people that want to invest in cryptocurrency, but don't want to go through the hassle of having that different, kind of segmented or separately than a regular investment portfolio. So what are the benefits of holding this? And again, we're going to go through some of the benefits in here. We're going to go through some of the things that people are kind of speculating when it comes to Bitcoin. I've done a lot of research and kind of figured this is information that needs to be presented out there. So the benefit, simplified Bitcoin investing, makes it accessible to all traditional investors. This is the big thing, guys. So there was one company that was looking for these Bitcoin ETFs. Now, I believe last count, there was like, I think 9 or 12 that were filing to do Bitcoin ETFs. So this, in my opinion, guys, is going to be huge, which means that if these Bitcoins are approved, larger companies like BlackRock is one that a lot of people cite, are going to have the ability to purchase Bitcoin. They are going to hold the Bitcoin. Then you're going to have the opportunity to buy the ETF that is in there. So again, you're buying the ETF without owning the underlying asset. Now, this, of course, is going to bring diversification and liquidity and addressing security concerns. That is the big thing, guys. A lot of people say that Bitcoin is, as much as it wants to be secured with wallets and, cold storage wallets and things of that nature, that Bitcoin was simply, one, too volatile, and two, there were too many security concerns about it. Now, in addition, this is going to provide regulation around it. So it is going to give the ability to even further diversify and give it to mainstream investors, which is going to be huge. So what is the impact that we're going to see in the crypto markets? This is some of the stuff, guys, that we need to know. Increased mainstream attention, legitimacy for Bitcoin, and a lot more people able to access and invest in Bitcoin. This, of course, is going to create a potential rise in demand in Bitcoin, which means there is going to be an increase in the value of Bitcoin. And having institutional investors that can buy Bitcoin can increase the liquidity and the accessibility. So I think really, from my opinion, from being in the crypto space for a couple of years now, it seems like once you start getting regulations and policies behind it, once you start getting institutional investors really around it, I guess, as well, that it adds a lot more legitimacy to it. Now, what are some of the risks about here, guys? Some of the risks and challenges of the Bitcoin ETF is the concerns of the market volatility. That is right, guys. If you have Bitcoin that's 64K, you look a couple months later, it's at 18K. That is huge. There's a lot of regulation hurdles, SEC, market manipulation, and that's another big concern. And that is a very honest, legitimate concern, in my opinion. If you have a company that has literally trillions of dollars, they can swing markets because of the amount that they're putting in cryptocurrency. Whether they're buying or whether they're selling is going to make a big difference on how those markets kind of react. Now, 2024 predictions for Bitcoin, anticipating more trading with Bitcoin. And of course, that is going to increase the value. We also know the Bitcoin halving is coming in 2024, which it traditionally, historically has shot up the price of Bitcoin. So again, a lot of people are thinking it is going to be a lot more favorable, and it is going to be, with the approval of the Bitcoin ETFs, is going to open the door to other cryptocurrencies. With that being said, I believe I did see a filing for an Ethereum ETF. So in the very similar nature that we see with Bitcoin, it is going to do the exact same thing with Ethereum. So what is going to be the impact on your financial industry, guys? This is going to be profound when we have countries that are moving to Bitcoin, that are accepting Bitcoin. A lot of money is going to move out of the markets, possibly into Bitcoin. Even if it is a little bit, I feel like it could swing a lot of what we're looking at for kind of mainstream cryptocurrency. It is really the very significant step towards not only institutions holding it, but also the adoption of cryptocurrencies worldwide, and also could lead in participation, investment, innovation in financial sectors that are now doing currency or now doing cryptocurrency. In my opinion, guys, the way that I'm playing this is when the ETF comes out, I am putting in 10% of the portfolio. Most of you have been following my portfolio for quite a while, doing incredibly well. And I really feel like the Bitcoin ETF is going to be one of the future. And even just putting a smaller percentage in there is going to make a big difference for a long-term buy and hold strategy, which we know through that we have. In addition, continuing with the dollar cost averaging that we have going on, again, going to make a really big difference. Holding the ETF is really going to increase the Bitcoin value. Now, majority of Bitcoin is held kind of in cold storage, is held, is not traded. And that is one of the big concerns that I've seen. There was even an article that came out from BlackRock over on Forbes about completely destroying Bitcoin if there are too many financial investors in it, meaning it's going to be too expensive for people to mine, going to be too expensive for people to essentially trade, is what the article over on Forbes was kind of talking about. And how is this going to reshape the financial industry? That is yet to be told, guys. Traditional institutions maybe need new products and services that are going to help the cryptocurrency market. And really, Bitcoin ETF in 2024, guys, I am putting in there with the potential promise benefits and also the increase of value, diversification, liquidity in the portfolio, going to make a big difference. And I'm thinking of my portfolio myself. I might put 8% in there, maybe not then the full 10, and we're going to go through it from there. This is all hinges in its entirety if the Bitcoin ETFs are approved, which again, that is something that we have to yet to be seen. Again, they're saying as early as January 4th. I don't know if that date is already good, if it's already set in stone, but we're going to have to see. Now, overall, looking at the last year and looking at kind of the hype around Bitcoin, it's up about, I believe, at 180% for the year, which is crazy to think about it, guys, because essentially, if you had, essentially 10,000 in there, well, now you have almost 30. If you had 50, now you're talking, almost 150,000. So being able to invest and have really exposure to the crypto market is my thought. And even in the future, if they come out with that Ethereum ETF, I will do both, guys. I will have a percentage in the Bitcoin ETF, a percentage in the Ethereum ETF, because again, I am one that buy and holds. We dollar cost average into everything to really make the best of it. Sorry, guys. So that is going to do it for today's video. Definitely got to do your research, guys. Make sure that you know what you're getting into. If you're buying Bitcoin, if you're buying the ETF, I feel like, again, at this point, holding Bitcoin and having Bitcoin is going to be very beneficial, because as soon as these larger companies start buying up the coin, the prices are going to increase. They're going to have to, because they're buying up the currency to fill these ETFs with the underlying asset that these companies are going to hold. So again, guys, that's going to do it for today's video. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about the Bitcoin ETFs that are coming. And as always, thank you guys for watching.